Good morning. This is Robert Goodman here on Positive Strokes, Staying Clean. And I'm so happy that you're a part of my recovery. I'm so happy that you're here and us working to make our lives better. I'm so happy about our life here, living on life's terms. And today I want to talk about step two. We came to believe that a power greater than ourselves can restore us to sanity. I had to realize that, Robert, your way was not working. For 40 years, your way was not working. You was a stubborn person. You choose to do what you wanted to do, the way you chose to do, the way you felt that you was going to make it better. And all your decision making just made it worse. But now you're trying something new, which is recovery. Now you are looking for a power greater than you to give you the information to help you in recovery. A power greater than you. My power that's greater than me, I chose to call as God. And it makes me think about the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. I cannot change the past and what I've done to myself and others. Change the things I can. I could change my behavior and stop using and abusing. But I must know the difference between what I can and cannot do. Yes, that second step, so a lot of times I just brushed through it. I didn't even really pay too much attention. But I realized that that step two was a very powerful step. That a power greater than me restored me to sanity, meaning that this power led me down the right road in recovery. That I was finally listening to someone else other than myself, because I led myself down into active addiction, expecting different results doing the same thing. A power greater than me restored me to sanity, meaning that I was able to look at myself openly to what I was doing to myself in the past. And I certainly didn't like what I saw. Oh no, I didn't like it. I realized how bad I truly was. I realized how bad my active addiction was. I realized just how a bad person I really was. And I didn't like that. And if I saw myself like that, I just realized that everybody saw me the same way. Then it made my history, my past, understand to understand what I was doing and how people treated me and why they treated me in the manner that I did. Because I honestly looked at myself and my actions. I realized that I have a lot of work to do on self. And that was the momentum, the information that made me move forward in recovery. I realized I knew nothing about living life on life's terms. That a power greater than me needs to help me find my way. And the only way that I can find my way is to look at my past honestly and openly, to actually how I acted, the way I acted, the honest truth. And I didn't like what I saw. I couldn't believe that I was the person I was in my past. I couldn't believe just how much power my addiction had over me. I couldn't believe how deeply my addiction brought me down a rabbit hole and caused me this undue pain when all I had to do was change my behavior. But the giving and using and wanting more overpowered all sound good decisions. And the shame kept me in active addiction too. But recovery taught me that I must face my fears of looking at myself honestly and openly and changing my behavior and not being ashamed and realizing that I am addicted, that the drug overpowered me and made me make bad decisions, bad choices, because the end result is I wanted more, I wanted more, and I wanted more. I wanted to feel a certain way. And in the dope world, the dopamine world, it's like playing chess. When you have dope, people that use dope want dope too. So they cater to you. They find means and ways to get what you have, to be a part of. And the chaos and the manipulation, the con, the lies, and all that comes into play, which creates so much drama in having dope, keeping dope, and getting high. But when this was slowly taken away from me and I chose recovery, my life got better. Things got quieter. There was no drama. I was just going through the ups and downs of overcoming my addiction. Being in the recovery program, when I woke up with the same stuff I went to bed with. I was able to take care of myself. I didn't have to worry about getting busted with the police about having dope. I was in a protective environment where I was getting enough rest. I was eating 3 times a day. My body was changing. It was going from one extreme to another extreme. I had to learn how to adjust mentally, emotionally, and physically. Yes, recovery was not easy, but it was a necessary tool so I can live my best life. A power greater than myself, meaning that my way was not working. It was not working. I tried all means and ways to do it my way, and all I did was make my life worse. Recovery made me look at myself honestly. And when I didn't like what I saw, I didn't like myself, it was easy for me to change my behavior. And as I changed my behavior and started working the steps in recovery, I realized that I was dumb. I didn't make sense to what I was doing with myself in active addiction. I was justifying the madness of my addiction. But now that I'm in recovery, living life on life's terms, doing one day at a time the right thing, my life is getting better. I'm creating a new me. Not the dopey me, but a new me. People are listening to my story. People are genuinely caring about Robert. I'm not alone. I'm with people like me, suffering an active addiction that chose recovery. And they're sharing their strength and hopes with me to let me know that life gets better, that they've created a new way of living for themselves, a new life. They destroyed their past situations and the way they lived life and the people that they love. A lot of them, they didn't get back. They accepted their faults, their mistakes. They understood that addiction led them down that road that they went. And there's nothing that they can do to change the past, but they can build on their future. Their lives got better. There's so many stories where they achieved so much in recovery. There are so many people in recovery that made milestone, put it this way, they made big choices that make them stand out, that they've done things that were impossible, but due to living in recovery, living life on life's terms, they created new ways of living, open doors where they were closed, which allows more recovering addicts to go through. It's a beautiful thing, recovery. Yes, there's recovery on Facebook, private groups, public groups that share about recovery and the things that they're overcoming. Instagram, Thread, YouTube. There are people on there sharing of their strength and hopes about recovery. Recovery's everywhere. You can reach out and learn about it. And if you're not a recovering addict, if you're not a person that's addicted, but you have family members that are, there's a wealth of information on social media for you to find out information that may help you help the people that you love that's in active addiction. What you can do to help them. The information is out there. All we have to do is use it. All we have to do is use it. Me being a recovering addict, I stayed in addictive mode for 40 years because I wanted to do it my way. I was stubborn. I was bullheaded. I kept doing the same thing, expecting different results. And when you run across a person that's acting in that manner, you must understand that they can't get it unless they choose to change their behavior. There's nothing that you can say or do to change their behavior. They have to do that themselves. They have to be willing to do what they need to do to make their lives better. And that is trying something new. A power greater than me restored me to sanity, meaning that recovery made me look at myself honestly and openly, which caused me to change my behavior. I have a power over addiction, that my way was not working for 40 years, that I duped and conned myself to continue the behavior that I was doing to make my life better, and all I did was make it worse. I honestly looked at myself. Do you honestly look at yourself and the path that you're taking? Are you constantly blaming others for the choices that you've made because you do not want to look at yourself in that manner? Or are you hiding in self-pity for the damage that was done to you, and you've done to yourself, and you'd rather live it rent-free in your head instead of trying something new that may change your life? Are you so ashamed of your actions that you try to put it on somebody else, that you don't want to look at it or what you've done? Or you have so many excuses why? Are you passing the buck? But that doesn't make you better. That doesn't change the situation. I didn't get better until I started working on Robert. And when I work on myself, my life gets better. When recovery came into my life and let me know that I'm a faulty person, that I'm imperfect, that I make mistakes. No matter how much right I do, I will make a mistake. The mistake is not important. It's what I do after the mistake. It's what I do after the mistake that's important. To correct my behavior, to own up to it. Why am I being ashamed of my actions when I'm an imperfect person? I'm going to make mistakes. That means that people are going to make mistakes against me because they're imperfect. So I don't allow their actions to live rent-free in my head. If they make a mistake and they change their behavior and do the next right thing, then they're being a blessing to me and themselves. But if they don't, that's their choice. And I understand the direction that they're going, which allows me to protect myself from their bad choices. But I don't hate them. I don't, because they're faulty like me. They choose not to do what they need to do for themselves. And it has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with them. But by me keeping the focus on myself, I make less mistakes. By me keeping the focus on myself, I don't pick up and use. By me keeping the focus on myself, I protect myself from outside forces. By keeping the focus on myself, I learn to live my best life. This is Robert Goodman from Positive Strokes, wishing you a great. And remember, you're the most important person to yourself. So Be good to yourself. And remember, you're not perfect. I'm not perfect. We all make mistakes. But we can learn from the mistakes that we make, and we can learn to live our best lives by overcoming the situations that we create in our lives. This is Robert Goodman for Positive Strokes. Yes, yes, yes. I'll be 67 in next month, and it's coming quick. The 19th, I will be 67 years old. And as I look back on my year, I look back that I believe it was the 28th of August of last year. I had my operation to have my prostate removed, and still dealing with that situation, the aftermath of that operation. Um, I'm not where I would like to be. It's a very humbling situation, uh, uh, emotional too at times, but I'm alive. I'm still breathing, and I'm still working through it through the grace of God. And I'm blessed that I'm still here and I'm able to be able to continue the work that I'm doing, trying to do on helping others live their best life in recovery. That's my goal. That's my mission. I want everyone that's addicted to drugs to learn how to live their best life in recovery, to change their behavior and find a new way of living. Because I did, and it changed my life. It's changed my life. It made my life better. The journey in recovery is unbelievable. You do not know where it's going to lead you, but it's going to lead you way better than addiction can ever do for you. I believe that. I know that because it happened to me. And I want you to have the same type of beautiful life that I have in recovery. And that's living your best life, learning what's good for you and what's not good for you, what you need to do to make things better, things that you need to give up and things you need to move forward on. But only you know what you need to do for yourself. See, I realized in my active addiction, when I look back in from recovery eyes, that I knew what I needed to do, but I chose not to do it because I wanted to do it my way. And my way was never working. But I was so stubborn that I kept doing the same thing, expecting different results. I was conning and manipulating myself, and I was manipulating and conning anybody that was willing to listen to my situation. But recovery took all that away from me. It taught me to clean the wreckage of my past, to own up to the mistakes that I've made, to ask forgiveness for the things I've done to others, to build a new way of living. I hope that you find a new way of living in recovery. You have a great and wonderful day.